Good morning. It is your Coach Matty J. I am excited today. Today we are going to be diving deeper into our nutrition, diving deeper into things that may be causing problems or affecting your weight loss journey that is smaller than just carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Things that go, we're just going to dive a little bit deeper into like what's going on in our gut. With my Facebook group audience and for my Rad Lifestyle Transformers, I'm making these videos specific to y'all. I'm really diving deep on information. I want y'all to get the most out of the program, get the most out of working with me as your coach, and I'm going to be doing the research for you, sharing it with you, and we're all going to be optimizing our bodies together, right? So I want you to just completely just soak in the information I'm providing you. This is going to be beneficial for you, and if it's not beneficial for you, it's beneficial for someone you know. There's a lot of people that struggle with being overweight, and it goes deeper than just them being in a calorie deficit or exercising. And that is one of the things I am wanting to tackle more with my nutrition programming, as well as overall with just sharing information with everyone that's a part of our group and a part of our community. So today we're going to be talking about lectins. What are lectins? So lectins are found, and you might have heard of them, they're mostly on plant-based foods, on mostly plant foods. So plants, just like animals, are naturally trying to survive. So as animals started eating more plants, we know that basically plants started creating a self-defense mechanism. Some of this is by, poison, by entrapping insects, right? There's different things that plants do. That way they can protect themselves and preserve their life. Well, along the way, especially as humans started eating more plants, they created these things called lectins. Lectins are just a sticky protein that bind to sugars, specifically in the gut, and they can disrupt the functionality of your gut and things and such like that. I'm going to dive more into that process. But basically, plants have evolved to have some basically short-term survival tactics and some long-term. So the goals of eating plants, and really the sum of this is like plants, they're marketed, they're just sold to you as healthy for you, but there are plants that are high in toxicity, very high in toxicity, and lectins, oxalates, we'll dive more into that later. But specifically talking about lectins, this is a way that plants disrupt your gut and basically allow the fibers of the plant to not be completely digested. That way when it is defecated, there's an opportunity for that plant to reproduce. It sounds like some diabolical plan by the plants. I know it's crazy, but this is happening to a lot of people, causes a lot of different issues. Like obviously gut inflammation. If you've heard of leaky gut, can cause leaky gut, and can also cause an escalation of any predisposed autoimmune disorders that you might have, or it could create some just by that immune response. So let's go back. So lectins are these large proteins that stick to carbohydrates or sugars inside of your gut. So your gut is very big. Your small intestine, large intestine, very big. The surface area of it could actually cover an entire tennis court. But the lining of your gut is very thin. It's only about as thick as one cell. So think about a cell. Think about how thick a cell is. Put that in your head. It's not very thick. It's tiny, right? Microscopic. That's how thick the lining of your gut is. So on the lining of your gut, you have this stuff called mucopolysaccharides. So that's the mucus on the inside of your gut. So a saccharide is a sugar. So mucopolysaccharide, so it's a mucus sugar. So the lectins, when we eat foods that are high in lectins, I'm going to dive into those later. What happens is those start they attach to that mucopolysaccharide layer, and they start trying to break away what's called the tight junctions in your gut. Okay, so these tight junctions, they reinforce the wall of your gut lining. That way nothing can break through. And basically over time, these foods that are high in lectins, what they do is they start breaking that down. Okay, once they can get through those tight junctions, they start producing another protein called zonulin. Zonulin is basically like the passport or the key to getting through your gut wall, right? That's the more you think about this on a cellular level, it's like, man, these plants are like on some diabolical ish right here. Okay, so the zonulin basically, if you think of it like when kids play Red Rover, so like all the arms are linked together. Well, like when two kids get tired, right? Boom, you can break through their arms, bust through. So that's basically the role of zonulin, is to wear down that gut wall even more and start allowing large molecules to start passing through. So now that that's opened, leaky gut has formed, things are leaking out through our gut, and then that is when the problems begin. So these microscopic holes are created in our gut. Basically, some of these negative things that are going to start happening are going to be inflammation, okay, by the form of LPSs, lipopolysaccharides. WGA, that's like wheat, germ. I'll dive more into that WGA though. And then all of this, basically the inflammation triggers your autoimmune issues to arise. And then from there, with the increased, now that the lectins are disrupting your gut so much, you begin storing fat. And these happen through different processes. But I'm not going to dive too far into the LPSs today and the WGAs. What I'll do is though, I want to talk about the foods that are high in lectins. So most of these foods, we've known these foods to be good for us, but they can really cause a lot of problems for you. These foods are any type of legumes, so beans and nuts, kidney beans, black beans, lentils, chickpeas, peas. You might have heard this, nightshade vegetables, tomatoes, potatoes, eggplants, and bell peppers. Grains, specifically whole wheat or whole grain products, are going to be extremely harmful. And when I talk more about WGAs, I'll specifically talk about whole grains and how that is disrupting your gut and can cause more inflammation in your gut. Seeds, all these things that people are saying, eat seeds, chia seeds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, and sesame seeds. None of these things are designed, like plants are trying to survive. They're not designed to be digested. So like you're putting this in your body, it's not getting digested, and then whatever's going, you got to think about, well, what's on these seeds that I'm ingesting that can have an effect on my gut biome, right? So, and then nuts, I already talked about those. So those are your main food groups that are going to be the highest in lectins. There are ways that you can incorporate these things, but ultimately, if you eliminate these things, I would highly suggest eliminating them if you're struggling with like any type of autoimmune disorder, as well as extreme like inflammation or irritable bowel syndrome. If you can start just eliminating things that are high in lectins, then it's like a trial by error essentially. And you'd be like, okay, eliminate this, okay, this. And then that's how you can actually figure out what is causing your inflammation or what is causing your autoimmune disorder. And instead of going through all these medications and stuff, and the doctor just putting band-aids to eliminate your symptoms, you can actually figure out the root cause, and you can actually fix your problems for the rest of your life. And that's really the way things need to start going. Okay. And then last thing, so it's more than just like lectins that can obviously break through. Like lectins are actively trying to get through your gut wall, but there's other factors that can contribute to that happening. So these are the 7 deadly gut disruptors right here. These things actively break down your gut lining, and they make it easier for lectins to break through your gut wall and then cause those other processes to happen. These are going to be broad spectrum antibiotics. Now, I'm not saying antibiotics are bad. Like obviously you have an infection, you need to take an antibiotic for that. Take it all the way through. Like you're supposed to get that out of you, right? But there's another way they sneak antibiotics into us, and that is through our food. Make sure when you are buying, it says no antibiotics ever given to the animals. You should, and I'll dive more into like what to look for, but you want to make sure you're never going to ingest something that was given antibiotics. Basically, if your meat eats things that are high in lectins, if your meat is given antibiotics, you are going to be consuming that meat. You're going to be consuming then what it consumed. Okay, so therefore, you don't want that in that body. That can disrupt the antibiotics specifically can break down the microbes that are in your gut, and that's what helps you digest everything. So you want those good bacteria. The antibiotics can actually kill off that bacteria, so that can be negative. Okay, NSAIDs. We know this. I think it's pretty common now, but you can't take too much ibuprofen, Motrin, aspirin, naproxen. You don't want to take those daily. Those over time break down the gut lining, and then obviously can lead to the failure of your gut wall and maintaining the integrity of that. Stomach acid blockers. So these are let me find that. Oh yeah. So third one is stomach acid blockers. So these are like Prilosec, Protonix, basically those proton pump inhibitors. Those basically can decrease the amount of acid in your stomach. You want a decent amount of acid in your stomach though, because that is what is going to help break down foods that do have lectins. Everyone has different tolerance levels, but overall if you can reduce the amount that you're having, it's going to be better for you. So by reducing the acidity in your stomach, or the stomach acid, that can have a negative effect. Also, by reducing your stomach acid, that can basically cure the symptom of the high acidity and maybe the acid reflux, but it doesn't fix the problem. So basically, you'll still continue eating high lectin foods, and then that will be causing that high acidity response, and then you'll be getting the symptoms, and then you'll just be diminishing them, and then continue eating the high lectin foods. So it's just a chain reaction. You don't want to do that. So best thing to do is just start decreasing the amount of lectins that you're eating. Artificial sweeteners. This one, I hate this because I eat a lot of fruit and honey, but I used to love Diet Coke and sparkling waters, but I'm diminishing artificial sweeteners. Those are harmful to the gut as well, and then they can also just trigger your body to just be storing more fat and things and causing inflammation in your gut. Endocrine disruptors. These are going to be found in like plastics, household cleaners, pesticides. That's why you want to get organic whole foods when you're getting them, organic fruit, organic vegetables. That way they're not sprayed with pesticides. And then in like certain food packaging and stuff like that. So Definitely, that endocrine disruptors deserves a whole video of how those can harm your body. And then 6 would be GMOs and Roundup. So it's very common now, but when you're going to the grocery store, make sure your meat has no GMOs, make sure your plants have no GMOs. And then Roundup is what is sprayed on all the plants. So if you are getting non-organic fruit and vegetables and you are just doing a light wash of them, you have likely eaten some Roundup, right? That is a deadly chemical. We don't need to be eating Roundup. We should never be doing that. That's why I highly encourage getting organic. Then from there, soaking your fruits and vegetables. What we do is sometimes we'll soak our our fruits in water, and then we'll add baking soda, and you can literally see just like boom, like all these things coming off of the fruit, and it's like thank goodness we started doing this, because all of that was going in our body, and who knows like what that's doing to us. We're obviously, everyone's gonna say like, hey, you're young, like you shouldn't worry about this stuff. But if you can optimize what you're doing, why not? You know what I mean? Why even stick to doing things just because I'm young? Because when I'm old, I would like, to already have these good habits, not be trying to fix myself. Okay, and then the last one is blue light. Obviously, we're on phones, screens all the time. Blue light just basically is telling our bodies that the primal part of our bodies that we're always in summer and that we need to eat excess calories to prepare for winter. This is somewhat theoretical, but I would say if you looked at some people over a long duration of time, I'm pretty sure you can see like the blue light does have an effect as far as causing people to snack more or eat more. I'm a very disciplined person, so I feel like I don't experience this one directly, but I would actually, this probably deserves a whole video for itself, also blue light. But these are going to be the most deadly disruptors of your gut, causing inflammation in your gut, causing you to basically eat foods that are bad for you, triggering you to eat more calories, triggering you to store fat. So you do not want these things in your diet. Okay. Obviously, this is a very dense topic. So today I just wanted to give an overrun of primarily of lectins, and then just to be more conscious of like what we're putting in our bodies, right? And in my next video, I will be talking about the LPSs. So that's the lipopolysaccharides, and the wheat germ antiglutamine. Yes. So I'll be talking about those. How that is causing inflammation and arising autoimmune disorders in your body. And then I will break down basically each one of the 7 deadly gut disruptors. So be on the lookout for those videos. And this is the whole goal. The whole goal is I'm not trying to make you paranoid. I just want to make you more conscious of what's going on in your food. And if this information can help you make better choices, and we can stop prevent your eczema from coming, or reverse your diabetes, or just lose weight, that's amazing, right? So that's the whole goal here, just kind of going a little bit deeper than carbs, proteins, fats. And if you're like, man, this is really stressful as far as like picking out what foods to follow, I would heavily consider, or maybe you have a family friend that is struggling with, they're just like, man, there's so much information, I don't know what to pick. Well, I hope that you would entrust me to help you build a nutrition plan that will personally fit your goals and also like your dietary needs, as well as help them get started, or help yourself get started on a workout program. So if you would like more information about the Rad Lifestyle program, just leave a comment below. Go ahead, let's comment lectins below. So just comment lectin, LECTIN, below, and I'll reach out to you and we'll talk kind of about like your dietary needs, your struggles, your goals, and we can put together a plan that's going to get you exactly where you need to be.